Welcome to October! Normally I would say I'm starting my October dress today, but I am taking a beginner crochet class today, so it's gonna have to wait. Tomorrow I'm starting stained glass again. This month I am not short on ideas, but what I am short on is time, because I have a ton of Halloween projects that I need to get done this month. My costume is done, but Aragorn's costume is not done, so I need to do that. And I have something really fun planned for the end of the month. Right now I have about 20 minutes before I have to leave, so I'm gonna go shop my stash to see if I can find fabric that's gonna work for my simple plan. Welcome to Fabric Storage B. I think what I want is probably in one of those two, possibly in that one. I found a plum and a black option, so naturally I did an Instagram poll while I went off and made my first crochet thing. Look at how relatively rectangular it is. My stained glass class went really well. I'm making a 3D hot air balloon. I've really wanted to try some 3D stuff, so we'll see if that works out. My Instagram poll about what color I should do picked purple. I'm starting with my Arwen bodice, and also a squeaky toy apparently. This velvet has the same stretch, so I just needed to adjust a few things and add a yoke. You know, I didn't write if this has seam allowance or not on it. That is unlike me. That was a mistake. Okay, it does appear that this includes seam allowances. This is my Arwen mock-up. I know it doesn't look like Arwen very much, but that's the fabric that I used. Snuggle mode activated. Also, doesn't this look familiar? You're blocking my picture, buddy. See? Doesn't this look familiar? For the yoke and the sleeves, I'm using this plum stretch lace. I got it in the figure skating fabric haul I was given a few years ago, and I've used it for quite a bit of my 2025 dress challenge. Also this stretch velvet. Oh, I've forgotten to tell you the rules again. 1. Comfy. 2. My style. 3. Stash. 4. Pockets. Got it? Good. I didn't pattern new long sleeves, but I measured the length from my shoulder to my wrist, and I'll fit the sides later. I pinned the front yoke to the front bodice, and the back yoke to the back bodice. This is the closest color match that I have, but there isn't a lot of it left, so I think I'm going to save this for top stitching and sew the dress with black. Also, it is time for a fresh needle. You know, I just realized that should have been a stretch needle. Whoops. I'll fix it tomorrow. I also put on the walking foot because I was thinking about stretch fabric. I sewed the yokes on, then lined up the shoulders. I used a lot of pins because this lace shifts a lot, but I got the job done. I had some trouble with pinning the sleeves because I forgot to mark the front versus the back, but when I figured it out and marked the front with pins, of course they fell out. But eventually I did get the sleeves set and sewn in place. To keep the seam allowance of my unlined bodice out of the way, I top stitched it in that very similar shade of plum. I have already moved him twice. Look at this nonsense. Fine, I will move. I'm going to sew the side seams and the sleeve underarm in one, so I pin those together. This stretch velvet is actually really thick, which is good because I was not lining this dress. Look who's crawling back into view. Now, I know that this sleeve is going to be way too big, especially down there. So what I'm going to do is just switch to having this be a basting stitch so I can try it on and get the sleeve fitted properly. And why a sting there? No reason. Emmy is retired from being my official costume companion and from wearing any non-functional clothes, so I'm trying to figure out if I can auction off some of her dresses to support a local animal shelter. They won't fit Sky, plus he'd look weird as Elsa. He's about to be Aragorn, though. This is not bad. I mean, this fits perfectly. This is loose as expected. Also, it is freezing in here and this is not warm enough. I flipped it inside out and fitted the sleeves. I feel like I should make a Sarah's fitted sleeve pattern, but it would change with the amount of stretch in the fabric, so not helpful. Okay, it looks good and I am still freezing. Much better. This looks kind of black on camera, but it's truly plum. I stitched along the pin line, trimmed off the excess, transferred that to the other sleeve, and stitched out a symmetrical sleeve. I wound all of my plum thread onto a bobbin so I could hem with the good thread. I tried to be clever here and use sticky tearaway stabilizer to keep the hem from getting all lettucey, but don't do that. It was a big fail. I got a little hungry yesterday afternoon, so I still have to finish the neckline, but it's the same as the sleeves, just bigger. And this morning we went to the PARK, and it was so chilly that Emmy had to wear her unicorn sweatshirt, and she was kind of upset about it, but it did mean that she got to run free, so maybe it was worth it. I tried stitching it by itself, but that was way too lettucey, so I added a dissolvable stabilizer, which did help, but not enough. So I cut it off and added a folded strip of lace as a sort of cuff to pull it in more. Time for the skirt! So Emmy injured her back in September, and she's back to her normal self now, but I had to cancel her haircut, so she got a bit matted, but our wonderful groomer made her comfortable and still cute. She'll just have to wear sweatshirts for a bit. I did plan for this dress to take a week and not 2 days, so I'll have lots of extra time to make her custom sweatshirts. I stitched the pockets to the sides with a dissolvable stabilizer. Twice, because I wasn't paying attention to the seam allowance the first time. I pinned the sides in the pocket and also my custom tag. I stitched both sides of the skirt and also serged that seam to contain some of the velvet fluff. It's a lost cause. And I just remembered that I was going to put in the stretch needle. I did not need help to pin the skirt and the bodice together, or even sewing them together. You can't see it, but he's leaning up against my back here. Okay. The dress is done except for the hem, and for that I need a dress form. They are both occupied. Oh, buddy. Arwen's dress turned into a dog bed again, and I used my chalk hem marker to mark and then trim the hem. The second to last step is to stitch the hem, but I was playing a close game of bobbin chicken, so I kept checking, and checking, and checking. It is not paranoia. Look at that. Plenty left over. The last step was dissolving the stabilizer in water, and the dress is done. So comparing the dress to some of my other Halloween makes, I decided that it was a little bit plain, but I didn't want to make it too costumey, so I made a removable belt with gigantic bow, and also a tiny bow. We all know where this is going. I had this flocked spiderweb organza in my Halloween stash, so it still counts towards rule number 3. Really? In the voiceover? I also crocheted 2 almost squares and most of a hat. I found a frog! Little guy. Okay, it is really hot out. It's like 80 degrees and very humid, so not the most fall weather to be recording something like this, but tomorrow it's gonna rain. I really like this dress. It is incredibly comfortable. It's not quite as awesome as my September dress, but that was a completely different style I was going for. This is a much more relaxed style. This is a good color for me. I try to avoid red because red just kind of makes me look pale. This plum? Excellent. Plus my aunt who sews said it was perfect color for me. I'm also very happy with the spiderweb bow. It's probably not gonna be worn with this dress very much though, but it made me really happy to make it. I have a couple of really fun videos coming out in the rest of October, but up next for this challenge is November's dress. I've got like 5 different ideas, so we'll see what I end up making. Bye everybody! Just walk through a spiderweb. Guy, do not go swimming.